Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going beyond the textbook to explore authentic British English through one of the UK's most iconic radio soap operas, The Archers. We're heading to Ambridge, a fictional village in the English Midlands where life revolves around farming, family drama and community spirit. For advanced learners, this show is a real goldmine of natural British expressions used in everyday conversation. In today's lesson, we'll look at 3 expressions from a recent episode. A cozy way to talk about sleep, tucked up. An important piece of British cultural knowledge, the Green Cross Code. And a classic idiom for extreme happiness, over the moon. By the end of this video, you will not only understand these expressions, but also the cultural nuances behind them. But first, let's listen to these expressions in their natural context in Ambridge.
Martha wants to see you, but both of us do. We wondered if you wanted to come for dinner. I've got pulled pork in the slow cooker.
It sounds great, but I need an early night.
Me too. I'm talking an early dinner with Martha, not an all-night rave. You can be home and tucked up before 9.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you're not going to let Martha down, are you? She'll be really disappointed.
That's emotional blackmail.
Yeah, I know. So you'll come?
It doesn't look like I have much choice, does it?
Oh, fantastic. Anytime from 5.
Oh, you mean you've got away with it so far? Linda won't give up. Now she's got you.
I'm screening her calls.
As if that's enough to stop her. I look forward to seeing you standing at the side of the road with a speed gun soon.
Oh, don't.
It is a good thing, though. It puts the fear of God in me, the way some cars race through the village. I'm trying to teach Martha to cross the road safely, but she's terrible. I have to really grip her.
Has she not done her Green Cross Code?
Good question. Do you know, I don't actually know.
Do you want to stay for tea, Eddie?
My famous sausage pasta bake.
Oh, as tempting as that sounds, I better get back. Oh, blimey, look at the time. I told Clary I'd have the potatoes peeled by the time she got back from Underwood's. She'll be furious if she gets home and finds I've not done it.
Actually, I think Clary will be over the moon when she hears you and Willa speaking again.
Oh, she will, yeah. I'm over the moon myself. The family are finally back together.
Alright, now that you've heard the scene, let's slow things down a little and break down these expressions one by one.
You know, have you ever thought about the real difference between just knowing English and truly understanding the English? It's way more than just grammar, isn't it? It's all about those hidden codes, those cultural shortcuts that native speakers use without even thinking. Well, today we're going to unlock a few of these secrets, and we're going to do it by taking a little trip right into the heart of the English countryside. Okay, so let's dive right in. First, let's talk about that gap, right? The one between knowing all the grammar rules and truly sounding like a native speaker. What's the missing piece of the puzzle? So, to find these authentic everyday expressions, we're going to visit a very special place, the fictional English village of Ambridge. Now, this is the setting for the BBC's incredibly long-running radio drama, The Archers. I want you to think of this place as our classroom for today. In Ambridge, the language you hear, it reflects the deep-rooted rhythms of British rural life. Honestly, it's the perfect environment to pick up some truly authentic English. So, where are we headed? Our destination is a fictional village called Ambridge. It's the home of the world's longest-running radio drama, The Archers. Now, this show is so much more than just entertainment. For over 70 years, it's been this living, breathing archive of authentic, conversational British English. It really captures the rhythm of life, of family, and of community. Look, if you really want to sound fluent, you have to move beyond the textbook. So today, we're going to dive into 3 idiomatic expressions straight from Ambridge. And these aren't just random phrases. They're little keys that unlock big parts of the culture. Things like cultural literacy, emotional expression, and their really unique feeling of rural comfort. Well, you see, real fluency isn't just about what you find in a textbook. It comes from understanding the cultural shorthand, all those unique little phrases people use in natural settings, like with family or in a really close-knit community. It's the language of life, not just the language of lessons. All right, so from the high drama of family feuds, let's shift our focus to something much quieter. Let's talk about the language that perfectly captures that cozy, comfortable side of British rural life. All right, let's start with a phrase that just perfectly captures that feeling of coziness and comfort. Something that's really central to the British way of thinking, especially on a chilly evening. And here's Alice again, but this time she's just offering a colleague a bit of kindness. She suggests he leave work early, and the way she says it is just perfect. She says he can be home and tucked up before 9. It's not just about going to bed, is it? It paints this whole picture of warmth and safety and just well-deserved rest. Our first phrase is tucked up. At its heart, it's all about being safe, warm, and just perfectly settled in for the night. Go on, picture it. A warm blanket, a good book, that's the feeling. And here's a perfect example of how it's used every day. A character, Alice, is describing a quiet early night. It's not about a wild party. It's about that simple pleasure of just being home and cozy.
Literally, this phrase comes from, tucking the bedsheets in around a child. But culturally, adults use it all the time to describe their own cozy evenings. In Ambridge, it just perfectly reflects that early to bed, early to rise lifestyle of a farming community. After a long day out in the fields, being tucked up is the ultimate goal.
So here's the secret, the really crucial point. Using this phrase isn't just about saying you're going to bed. It shows you get that gentle, almost self-deprecating humor that Brits use to talk about simple comforts. It's a real sign of high-level fluency.
This is the brief on the advanced British English phrase, tucked up. First up, what does this phrase actually mean? Well, being tucked up basically means you're warmly and snugly settled into bed. It really implies this deep, cozy sense of comfort and safety, In our featured YouTube lesson from the show, there's a great scene where Alice promises her brother Rory they're just grabbing a quick dinner. She assures him he'll be home and tucked up before 9, making it perfectly clear they are definitely not heading to some all-night rave. Second, let's unpack the linguistic nuance here, because it's pretty interesting. You see, while literally tucking in refers to wrapping bedsheets tightly around a young child, adults have playfully adopted tucked up to describe their own intentional early nights in or just those wonderfully tranquil evenings at home. Finally, how does this fit into the broader culture? It absolutely captures that classic early-to-bed, early-to-rise lifestyle typical of rural communities and busy parents. As we see in the lesson's clips, after a long, hard day working out in the fields, most farmers in Ambridge are safely tucked up by 10 p.m. So whether you're an exhausted farmer or you're just happily skipping a late night out, getting tucked up is your absolute ultimate ticket to a restful British bedtime.
Okay, next up, we're moving from personal comfort to public safety. This next phrase is a vital piece of British cultural literacy. It's something that's just deeply ingrained in the nation's childhood. And this is a good one, because you are probably not going to find this in your standard dictionary. But, and this is the key thing, pretty much everyone in Britain knows exactly what it means. It's a fundamental lesson in safety.
Okay, so picture this. A narrow country road, a car zips by a little too close, that heart in your throat feeling. A mother, Alice, turns to her daughter. Now, her first instinct isn't to say, look both ways. Instead, she asks a question that is absolutely packed with cultural meaning. Have you done your green cross code?
So, the green cross code, it isn't just a set of instructions for crossing the street. For practically every single person from Britain, it's a shared cultural memory from their school days. It's absolutely iconic. So, what on earth does that mean? Well, literally, the phrase comes from an old pedestrian safety campaign that taught kids to stop, look, and listen. But the cultural meaning is what's really important here. It's a genuine British rite of passage. And in a place like Ambridge, with all its narrow, winding roads, this isn't just some old rule. It's absolutely vital for survival. And here's Alice again, but this time she's using it to express some genuine concern about a child's road safety. This is so important in a rural village like Ambridge, where those quiet country lanes can actually be more dangerous than they look. And this is what's so cool about this one. This phrase is like a key that unlocks a very specific, shared British experience. You won't find it in a textbook. It's lived English. Using it shows you don't just know the language. You know the culture inside and out.
What actually is the Green Cross Code? Well, it's this incredibly famous British pedestrian safety campaign. Basically, it's a set of rules taught to every kid to help them cross the street safely, and the steps are super straightforward. Stop, look, listen, think. Second, let's look at how this plays out in the Archers. In a recent storyline, a character named Alice asks if a young kid, Martha, has done her green cross code right after a seriously terrifying near miss with a car. Picture the show's fictional village of Ambridge, right? It's this idyllic English setting, complete with a gorgeous stone church and grazing sheep. But beware, because these narrow rural roads often completely lack pavements, or what Americans call sidewalks. Plus, cars routinely speed through there, which actually sparked the village's whole Speed Watch initiative. In that kind of environment, knowing how to cross the road safely is absolutely vital. Finally, what's the real language lesson here? Well, knowing this specific phrase is basically a cultural rite of passage for British kids. Dropping it naturally into your conversation demonstrates a high-level cultural literacy that honestly goes way beyond standard textbook English. Because at the end of the day, truly mastering a language like British English means understanding the local cultural survival rules, like the Green Cross Code, just as much as the grammar.
Okay, so we've covered a lesson in safety. Now let's switch gears and talk about a lesson in heartfelt emotion. Our next phrase is a total classic for expressing pure, unadulterated joy. This is one you'll hear all over Britain, from a football match to a family kitchen. Here we've got a character, Eddie Grundy, and he's celebrating the end of a really bitter family feud. And he doesn't just say he's happy, no way. He exclaims, with this huge sense of relief, "I am over the moon." You can just feel the weight of that long-awaited resolution in the phrase itself. Over the moon. It's such a simple phrase, but it's an incredibly powerful way to say you are delighted, you're thrilled, or you're just bursting with happiness about something. In this quote, a character named Eddie uses it to express this deep sense of relief and joy. See, after a lot of drama, a family feud has ended, and you can really feel his happiness. It's about something that truly, truly matters. You see, over the moon means so much more than just very happy. It's a staple of informal conversation. It's what you say when you want to express genuine, heartfelt satisfaction. In a community like Ambridge, it reflects a deep sense of family loyalty that goes beyond all the day-to-day drama. It's that feeling you get when the harvest is finally in and the family is at peace. The secret here is all about sincerity. This isn't just some throwaway line. It's the go-to phrase for expressing authentic, heartfelt joy about the big things in life, like family finally being at peace with each other.
Well, being over the moon simply means you're absolutely thrilled or extremely happy. In the show, you'll hear a character named Eddie use this exact phrase twice. He's just so incredibly relieved that a bitter, long-standing family feud is finally over, and Clary and Willow are actually speaking to each other again. Second, let's look at the deeper nuance, because you really won't find this in some dry textbook. It's a classic British idiom. It's a total staple in everyday informal chat, and we use it specifically to express genuine, deep emotional satisfaction, rather than just a quick, fleeting smile. Finally, let's bring it all back home to Ambridge. You know, the show's fictional farming community is completely built on deep family ties. So, whether they're celebrating a massive crop harvest or just the return of family peace, being over the moon perfectly captures that immense, salt-of-the-earth rural joy. So, the next time you experience a massive wave of relief or happiness, you'll know exactly how to tell the world you're over the moon like a true Brit.
Okay, so we've covered 3 key phrases for 3 key ideas: safety, joy, and comfort. Now, let's put it all together, because this is where that gap between sounding like a learner and sounding like a native becomes crystal clear. So what does all of this mean for your English fluency? Let's connect these 3 very different phrases together and have a look at the bigger picture. Just take a look at this comparison. On the left, you've got functional, correct textbook English. Look both ways. I am very happy. I am going to bed early. It works. It gets the message across. But now look at the right side, the native version. Use the green cross code. I am over the moon. I will be tucked up. That's English that carries culture and emotion and a real sense of place with it. When we put them all together like this, you can see these aren't just random phrases, are they? They actually represent core themes of British rural life, that deep value placed on comfort, the collective responsibility for safety, and the profound joy that's found in family. So really, these phrases are so much more than just vocabulary. They're like little windows into the soul of British rural life. It's a kind of local hygge, if you will. They show you a culture that really values balancing hard work with safety, the joy of family connection, and the simple, wonderful comfort of a warm evening indoors. So, what does all this mean for you? Well, you can start using this language right now. Think about your weekend. Are you over the moon about some exciting plans you have? Or after a long week, are you just looking forward to being tucked up early with a good book? Trying out these phrases, well, that's your next step towards sounding truly fluent. And that brings us to a final question for you. When you think about that cozy feeling, the British equivalent of the Danish concept hygge, which of these phrases really comes to mind? Think about the imagery of those early nights and happy family gatherings.
And now it's your turn to practice. Go on, put your new cultural literacy to the test. Try using tucked up or over the moon in the comments below. Describe your perfect weekend and show us what you've learned from our little trip to Ambridge.
Thank you for watching our exploration of advanced British English through the latest events at Meadow Farm. If you found this lesson helpful for your English studies, please like the video, comment below with the idiom you found most useful, and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on our future content. Thank you for your support.